Think about a house, not a new one that's been lived in for 40, maybe 50 years. The roof leaks a little. The plumbing groans every morning. Paint is peeling in rooms nobody visits anymore. Now, the family living there never once called a repairman, not because they couldn't afford it, because they were too busy redecorating the kitchen every single weekend. New countertops, new tiles, new appliances, over and over, while the foundation quietly cracked beneath their feet. That house is your body, and the constant redecorating, that's every meal you eat. You're probably here because someone told you intermittent fasting burns fat, and it does. But fat loss is honestly the opening act of a much bigger show. What fasting does to the aging process over months and years is something most people will never experience because they never stick around long enough to find out. Here's the thing about eating. Every single time food enters your system, your body receives one dominant instruction: store, build, grow. Insulin surges, cells absorb nutrients, energy gets packed away. And in a world where most people eat from the moment they wake up until the moment they go to sleep, that instruction is playing on an endless loop. Your cells are permanently stuck in construction mode, stacking bricks, pouring concrete, but never once stopping to inspect the building. Meanwhile, deep inside those cells, damage is accumulating. Proteins are folding incorrectly and clumping together. Your mitochondria, the little engines that power everything you do, are wearing out and leaking toxic byproducts. Cellular garbage is stacking up in corners nobody checks. This isn't the normal cost of getting older. This is what happens when your body never gets a maintenance window. Researchers sometimes call it constitutive growth signaling, and the implication is brutal. Your cells are so busy building that they literally cannot clean. And the mess, it compounds, year after year after year. So what happens when you finally stop eating for a stretch? At first, nothing good. Your body throws a tantrum. Headaches show up uninvited. You get irritable over nothing. Your stomach sends distress signals that feel wildly out of proportion to what's actually happening. Your brain starts bargaining with you, telling you this is dangerous, telling you to quit. But it's not danger, it's confusion. Your metabolism has been running on one fuel source your entire adult life: glucose, the quick and easy option. Imagine a generator that's only ever been plugged in to one outlet. You pull the plug and it stalls. Not because it's broken, but because it hasn't been asked to find another power source in decades. Scientists call this metabolic inflexibility, and it's the reason the first day or two of fasting feels so rough. Your body has a backup fuel system that's been sitting idle, collecting dust. But somewhere around 12 to 18 hours without food, the tide turns. Your liver burns through its last reserves of stored sugar. Insulin, the hormone that's been locking away your fat stores like a security guard standing in front of a vault, finally steps aside. And your body does something it may not have done in years. It starts breaking down stored fat and converting it into ketones, a fuel source your brain runs on beautifully. The fog clears. The hunger fades. Energy stops dipping and starts climbing. This is your body switching generators. And once that switch flips, the real transformation begins. When your cells are no longer busy processing food, they activate an ancient recycling program that won a Nobel Prize in 2016. It's called autophagy. Your cells begin scanning their own interiors, identifying components that are broken, outdated, or malfunctioning. Damaged proteins get dismantled. Worn-out mitochondria get stripped for parts. Cellular debris that's been accumulating for months or years gets cleared out and rebuilt into fresh, functional material. Picture a restaurant kitchen that's open 18 hours a day. The deep clean can never happen while orders are flying in. The grease builds up, the vents clog, the equipment degrades. But close that kitchen for one night, and a crew can come in, scrub everything down, replace what's failing, and reopen sharper than before. That's autophagy, and it only activates when the kitchen is closed, meaning when you stop eating long enough for your body to shift priorities from processing to repairing. This process follows a principle called hormesis. Controlled stress makes biological systems stronger, the same way a bone heals denser after a fracture or a muscle grows back thicker after being torn. A short period of fasting stress forces your cells to toughen up and optimize. Quick question, drop it in the comments. Have you ever fasted long enough to feel that shift, that moment where the hunger vanished and everything suddenly felt clearer? I want to know how many of you have crossed that line. Here's what the long-term research reveals, and it's striking. When scientists examine the cells of consistent intermittent fasters, they find markers of biological age that are significantly younger than their calendar age. Telomeres, the protective caps on the ends of your chromosomes that shorten as you age, degrade more slowly. Mitochondrial efficiency improves. Cellular turnover accelerates. These aren't people who just look younger. Their cells are measurably, objectively younger. Now, the fear everyone brings up, won't fasting eat my muscle? Think about this from an evolutionary standpoint. Our ancestors went days without a meal regularly. When food was scarce, they needed to move faster, think sharper, and fight harder. Evolution would never design a system that destroys muscle during the exact window when survival depends on it. Instead, your body floods itself with human growth hormone during a fast, increases of 300% or more in some studies. Muscle is preserved, fat is burned. The body protects what it needs and sheds what it doesn't. And your brain benefits enormously. Fasting triggers production of a protein called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which stimulates new neuron growth and strengthens existing neural connections. That razor-sharp mental clarity people describe during a fast isn't placebo. It's your brain running on ketones with a surge of BDNF reinforcing every circuit. Then there's inflammation, the silent engine behind heart disease, cognitive decline, autoimmune disorders, and a dozen other conditions. When your digestive system runs nonstop, it stays perpetually inflamed. Fasting gives it a chance to cool down, and systemic inflammation drops measurably as a result. Now, I have to be straight with you. Fasting amplifies your habits. If those habits are good, the results compound beautifully over years. If you break a 20-hour fast with processed junk, you're undermining the entire process. The real question isn't whether fasting helps you lose weight this month, it's what your life looks like at 70, at 80. There's a concept researchers separate into two categories, lifespan and health span. Lifespan is the number of years you're breathing. Health span is the number of years you're actually thriving. Most people spend their final decade or more managing decline, cycling through prescriptions, losing mobility, watching independence dissolve. Long-term fasting compresses that decline window dramatically. You're not just adding time to your life, you're adding quality to your time. We live surrounded by more food than any generation in history, and we're sicker than ever. The radical act in this era of endless abundance isn't eating more, it's choosing deliberately to stop. Not forever, just long enough for your body to remember what it was built to do: repair, rebuild, renew. If you found value in this, subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive, because we are just getting started.